الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. Okay, assalamu alaikum everyone. So hope everyone is doing good. So let's get started. Just to refresh our memories where we are reading Surah Al-Baqarah. That is the first surah of it's in the first para of Quran, and also second surah of Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah. And the last class we've been reading on Bani Israel, how Allah Ta'ala is telling us that how corrupt these people were at Bani Israel, and Allah Ta'ala had given them so many bounties, but these people had they were not good at all. So they had a corrupt mind, and they didn't want to listen to the prophet at the time, which Musa alayhi salam. So the stories which are reading are from that time. So the last ayat we said, the couple of last few ayats which we read, it talked about how Torah was given to Musa alayhi salam, and when Musa alayhi salam brought it to them, they didn't want to believe it, and then Allah Ta'ala made it. Allah Ta'ala forcefully made them accept it by putting a mountain on their head and warning them that they don't accept it, the mountain will crush them. So they go scared with that, and they had to agree. They had no other option. So Allah Ta'ala forced them to accept the book and follow it. So they got the book, but they still don't want to follow it. But they said, okay, we'll do it. But these people obviously were corrupt, and Allah Ta'ala is just explaining what bad things they did and what kind of punishments Allah Ta'ala gave them. So the last ayat which we read was, I believe, ayat number 63, the one which talks about how Allah Ta'ala gave them the book. So ayat number 64 is which you're going to read today. Yeah. So ayat 64. Go ahead, Ayan, you read ayat 64.
Okay, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. From Thumma?
Yes.
Thumma.
Summa.
Oh, sorry. Thumma tawallaytum min ba'di dhalika falawla fadlullahi
Little louder. I cannot hear you.
alaykum wa rahmatuhu lakuntum minal khasirin. And the definition is then even after that you turned away, had it not been for grace and mercy of Allah upon you, surely you would have been among the losers.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم توليتم من بعد ذلك فلولا فضل الله عليكم ورحمته لكنتم من الخاسرين. So Allah Ta'ala says, then you turned away after that. So if not for the grace of Allah upon you and His mercy, surely you would have been of the losers. So Allah Ta'ala is telling us and telling to the people, Bani of Israel, and all the readers, that that you guys turned away from the guidance. When if you turn away from the guidance, then you turned away after that. So if not, and if Allah Ta'ala has not been merciful on you, because they said we'll accept the book, but again they try to cheat on it. But Allah Ta'ala is again forgiving them many times. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, if it wasn't by the grace of Allah Ta'ala would have punished you much more, and you have become loser right away. So Allah Ta'ala is just telling about these people, how corrupt they were, and Allah Ta'ala was giving them chance after every chance so they might return. Next ayat, ayat number 65. Who's going to read ayat 65? Umar, go ahead. Umar, can you hear me? Okay, Rida, you go ahead, beta.
Umar's there. His mic won't unmute. Oh, it's working now.
Wait, from where?
Umar, you're going to read ayat 65.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولقد علمتم الذين اعتدوا منكم في السبت فقلنا لهم كونوا قردة خاسئين. And the definition is, and indeed you knew those among you who
Transgressed.
what?
Transgressed.
Transgressed in the matter of the Sabbath. So we said to them, be apes this
Apes, yes. Despised. Okay. وَلَقَدْ عَلِمْتُمُ الَّذِينَ اعْتَدَوْا مِنْكُمْ فِي السَّبْتِ فَقُلْنَا لَهُمْ كُونُوا قِرَدَةً خَاسِئِينَ. So Allah Ta'ala says, and indeed you knew those who transgressed among you in the matter of Sabt. So we said to them, be apes despised. So what is Allah Ta'ala telling here? Allah Ta'ala is telling Allah Ta'ala is telling a story of a group among Bani Israel. So Bani Israel, as we know, these are the nation of Musa alayhi salam. So one of the group, so when Torah came, the book of Torah came to them, that book said that you can work all your week, you can do whatever you want to do, but the day of Saturday, Rida listening? But on Saturdays, you have to not work and only do ibadat of Allah Ta'ala. So Saturday is a day which is very important to you, that you do more of your ibadat and you do not go to work and don't do work. And so Yom Sabt, the Sabt is the day of Saturday in Arabic. So it said on Sabt, the day of Saturday, you're going to do more ibadat and you're not supposed to work. And the work which they had at that time was this group, they were fishermen. So what they do is they had their net in the river, right? And they collect the fish. So they go do fishing. They were doing fishing, but when they go on Sunday or when on Saturday was a day off for them. So whenever they go on Saturday, because they were not allowed to do fishing, they see there was a lot more fishes there. So there was a lot more fishes on Saturday as compared to other days. So they said, oh, Saturday we have been stopped to do fishing, so let's do a trick. So they tried to trick with Allah Ta'ala. The trick what they did was put a net on Friday, right? And said, okay, we're not working on Saturday, but on Sunday morning they will come and get the fish. Because on Saturday there was a lot more fish. So there was a lot more fish on Saturday because it was a test from Allah Ta'ala that how does these people will behave with that. So they see every day was less fish. On Saturday there was much more fish. So they said, oh, Saturday we cannot work because Allah Ta'ala has asked us not to work and just to do ibadat. Okay, we will do ibadat, but for the work, let's do a trick. The trick is like we put a net late night on Friday, and Sunday morning we'll come get the net. So they start doing that. They put a net on Sunday, they come, there was a lot of fish. So Allah said, oh, these people are trying to trick me. They're trying to get the fish on Saturday, the day which I have forbidden them. So Allah Ta'ala sent a punishment them. And the punishment was all their group, Allah Ta'ala made them monkeys. Apes. See, it said be apes despise. So Allah Ta'ala made them monkeys, all of them. Yeah, so they slept at night. In the morning when they got up, they like, what happened to us? Our size has reduced, and they're looking at each other like, you looking a monkey, and said, you look monkey too. So they all become monkeys. So they can tell each other, they can tell that he's my wife, he's my husband, brother, sister, but they couldn't do anything about it because they become monkeys. All of them become monkeys. So there was a punishment which Allah gave them. So they were looking at each other and they were helpless because they can't do anything to what happened to them. So there was a severe punishment Allah gave to this group. Yes, Rida, what's your question?
So my question is, would they still go to hellfire even though they became monkeys? Because animals don't get a second life.
Yeah, they will go to hellfire because they were not born as animals. They were made animals as a punishment. So this punishment was for them in the world. So when Allah Ta'ala gives someone punishment in this world, that punishment is for this world, but the punishment of their crime, they will get hereafter as well. So for such thing, they will go to hell. Yes, Ayan, you have a question?
Yeah, okay. My question was that, at some jobs you like storm chasers or something, sometimes there might be storms on Saturday and you have to do your job on Saturday. What about then?
Say it again.
You know how there's some jobs like storm chasers and stuff like that?
Storm chasers, what about them?
So if there's like a storm on Saturday, I'm just saying in general of any job, if there's
No. If this was
work on,
you can work now on Saturday. There's no restriction now. We're talking about that time for the Bani Israel. So Allah Ta'ala put a test on them. They cannot work on Saturday at that time, but not now. Now it's not for us. There's no such restrictions.
Oh, okay, because I got confused about right now.
No. So it was just for that time, for that group, because Allah Ta'ala was being very merciful to them, and Allah Ta'ala wanted to test them that how they're gonna react, how they're gonna follow the book of Allah or not. Which the Torah was a book. Right now we don't follow Torah. Now we follow Quran, right? So Torah is an older book, so that's not something for us to follow. The book which we need to follow now is Quran, and Quran does not restrict us to work on any days. Quran only restricts us that we cannot work when there's a time for namaz. So the Quran says when there's time for namaz, you have to leave your work and pray your namaz. So if the people are, there are people who don't do namaz even at work time, so obviously they will get punishment. It's up to Allah Ta'ala if they want to send the punishment in this world or not. But Allah Ta'ala has the right to punish them in this world as well. And surely Allah Ta'ala is going to punish them thereafter. So right now the restriction for us is like when there is a time for namaz, we have to leave our work and read namaz.
What about like you are like a doctor or something and you have to work 24/7 and you don't have time for namaz?
You have to make time. You have to make time. There is no such job in the world which does not give you a break. Every job gives you a break after 2-3 hours, and you have to read your namaz. So you can always tell if you are in a situation where the employee says that you cannot pray here, then being a Muslim, we should not be working at that place. If we are working at a place, we need to tell our employer that we are Muslim and we have to take a break for namaz. So the namaz takes only 5 to 10 minutes. So if I'm working at a place where I will have where my Zohar time, the Zohar is at 1 o'clock, right? So if I'm working at a place where I need to read my Zohar prayer, which is 1 o'clock, and then my Asr prayer, which is 4 o'clock. So maybe these two prayers are going to come in my job if I'm working from 9 to 5. So I have to tell my boss, manager, that I have to take 10 minutes break at these times to do my namaz. And if he says it's not allowed, then for me be a good Muslim, I should not take that job. Okay, because there is no excuse for namaz. So namaz is not a lengthy thing. So we can always, if he's not accepting it, then maybe we'll try to take a break at that time, do the namaz. But there's no excuse for that, for not reading your namaz.
Okay, thank you.
So these people, Allah Ta'ala made them monkeys. Now the question would be that are these monkeys still those people? So those monkeys, they just lived for 3 or 4 days and then they all died. So these monkeys which are now in this world, this is not from their generation. This is different animal generation. So Allah Ta'ala made them monkeys only for 3-4 days, and then they all died and they're all gone. Okay? Huh? They died a monkey, yeah. Yeah, they were graves in the graves as monkeys as well. They died as monkeys as well. Yeah, Allah Ta'ala made them monkey, and Allah Ta'ala maybe is going to raise them up on the day of Qiyamah as monkey as well. We don't know. Because Allah Ta'ala says, you will be raised up on the day of Qiyamah for your judgment day in the state which you die. So if they die as a monkey, maybe they're going to Allah Ta'ala is going to raise them as a monkey, and that's going to be a continuation of their punishment. Yes, Umar, you have a question?
Yeah. So while you're doing your job and if you have to pray and your boss doesn't let you, should you make an excuse for praying?
You can make an excuse. The best thing would be that you change the job. You're not supposed to work at a place where your boss is not letting you pray. So if the situation comes that you cannot get another job and this is the only job you will get, then you make an excuse then you can do, okay, don't tell him, then you can take a break and go to the break room or somewhere, do a namaz. But your first thing would be, you tell your boss that if I'm not allowed to do my namaz here break time, I should not be working here. But if you are in a situation that there is no other job and you're stuck, you cannot find another job, then yeah, you can make an excuse, but still you have to do your namaz because there is no excuse for the namaz when the time comes. Yeah. No, beta.
I have another question.
Yes, Umar.
So if your boss is like a Muslim and you're a Muslim and he lets you go pray, can you ask him if he prays like with you so you guys pray together?
Yes, sure. That will be the best thing. It's always better to pray with a group. So that's best thing. If the boss is Muslim or if anyone else working in your company is Muslim, you should always try to congregate. So always try to do namaz together.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, Ayan, you have a question too, beta?
So if you have to quit your job because your boss says that you pray namaz, then that means you would become homeless or it would be really hard for you to find a job. And then if you don't get that good luck, then you can't even do wudu to pray namaz. So what would you do in that case?
Ask again. I missed some part.
Something that so if since your manager doesn't let you pray namaz and then you quit the job, what do you do? Because if you get bad luck and you just don't get into any jobs and you become homeless.
Okay, good question, Ayan. So if you leave that job for the sake of namaz, so what does it mean? You leaving that job, Akbar? It means Akbar, Akbar, sit down. So it means it means you're leaving that job for the sake of Allah, right? If we do something for the sake of Allah Ta'ala is never gonna get you in such trouble. We have to have belief. We need to have belief that Allah Ta'ala is the one who gives to everyone. Allah Ta'ala is the one who makes things happen. Everything is in the hands of Allah Ta'ala. So Allah Ta'ala, if we do such a great thing that we quit our job for the sake of namaz, the namaz which you're doing for Allah Ta'ala is very merciful. Allah Ta'ala is going to give us for sure a much better job than that. We need to have a faith in that. We need to have a strong belief in that, being Muslim, that Allah Ta'ala is going to give much better than that. And if we don't get much better than that, it means that Allah Ta'ala is going to give us much better hereafter. Allah Ta'ala is not going to let go the such sacrifice. Allah Ta'ala is going to reward us for sure. Okay?
What about so if he doesn't give us the reward in life and in the afterlife, then how would we pray? Because when we would become homeless, we wouldn't have anywhere to do wudu. Because especially if you're in a city, there's no lakes in cities.
Where is that city? Where is that city where there's no water? Have you seen such city? There's no water for wuzu. There's no such places. You're not living in a jungle, right? So why are you thinking like that?
Because usually in cities, unless if Could you use like a public toilet?
So yeah, you can use it as a public toilet, and if there is no water, you can do tayammum. Tayammum is like you can do wuzu with the dirt as well. If you are stuck on a travel, there's no water close by, then it's allowed for Muslims to do a wuzu even with this dirt. You can take the dirt, put it on your hand, and rub it with the hand, and put on your face a little bit, and that's the wuzu you need for the namaz. If there is no water around.
Then wouldn't you become dirty from the dirt?
No, you won't become dirty. You just do that and you just shake off. You won't become dirty.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, any more questions? Hey, Rida, you have questions? Okay, next ayat. Who just read? Rida, you read or no? Okay, Rida, go ahead. 66.
And Rida on mute. Oh, sorry about that. She was on mute.
I know because I was talking to him. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فجعلناها نكالا لما بين يديها وما خلفها وموعظة للمتقين وإذ قال
One ayat only.
أعوذ بسم الله.
Just translate.
And we made it a deterrent punishment for those who were present and those who succeeded them, and for those who fear Allah.
فجعلناها نكالا لما بين يديها وما خلفها وموعظة للمتقين. So Allah says, so we made it a deterrent punishment for those in front of them and those after them, and an admonition for those who fear Allah. So Allah Ta'ala is talking about the punishment which Allah Ta'ala gave to these people. They call Yom Sab, right? People Kamal Sab. So Allah said the punishment which I gave to them was obvious and seen by the other people as well. So it could be a lesson for them that Allah Ta'ala, if wants to punish, Allah Ta'ala can give a severe punishment as well. So there was a punishment which the people saw it there, and that punishment Allah Ta'ala is telling us as well in Quran. So we drive lesson. So we get scared of Allah Ta'ala and we try to follow the commandments of Allah Ta'ala, because now we know that Allah Ta'ala can give severe punishments in this world as well. Okay, next ayat. Alina, go ahead, next ayat.
Okay, which ayat again?
You're going to read ayat 67.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ قال موسى لقومه إن الله يأمركم أن تذبحوا بقرة قالوا أتتخذون هزوا قال أعوذ بالله أن أكون من الجاهلين. And the definition is, and when Musa said to his people, indeed Allah commands you to slaughter a cow, they said, do you take us in ridicule? He said, I seek refuge in Allah from being among the ignorant.
وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُكُمْ أَن تَذْبَحُوا بَقَرَةً قَالُوا أَتَتَّخِذُنَا هُزُوًا قَالَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ أَنْ أَكُونَ مِنَ الْجَاهِلِينَ. So Allah Ta'ala is talking about Bani Israel, different events which happened there. So Allah Ta'ala is now talking about another event which happened. And it says, and when Musa said to his people, indeed Allah commands you that you slaughter a cow, Baqarah. See this word Baqarah. So this surah also is named Baqarah because of this word, because of this story which is coming here now. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, remember that when Musa told his people that Allah Ta'ala is asking you to slaughter a cow, they said, do you take us a ridicule? That it means that are you making fun of us? Why would Allah Ta'ala ask us to slaughter a cow? Then he said, I seek refuge in Allah that I be among the ignorant. He said, I seek refuge in Allah Ta'ala, meaning I'm scared of Allah Ta'ala and I'm not an ignorant to make fun on what Allah Ta'ala is saying. Right? So what is this now? So this is a new event which is starting here. A new event which is starting here. So Allah Ta'ala is talking about an event which happened during Bani Israel time. So what was happened? Rita, what happened? Yes, Allah Ta'ala gave punishment to that group, they become monkey. So now Allah Ta'ala is talking about a different event here when some people came to Musa alayhi salam and they said, and they asked Musa, so what happened is, so see, Bani Israel had 12 different tribes, right? So each tribe was fighting with a different tribe. So what happened? One person of one tribe got killed. So someone killed a person of a tribe and they said, they came to Musa, and Musa, can you tell us that who killed our person? Can you ask Allah Ta'ala, because we cannot find a clue. We don't know what happened. And that guy was very important to us. So can you ask Allah Ta'ala that who killed that person in our tribe, so we can go and take a revenge. So we can find the criminal, we can find the murderer. And Musa said, okay, I'm going to ask Allah Ta'ala. He asked Allah Ta'ala, and Allah Ta'ala said, okay, go ahead and tell this group, you will know who did it, but first you need to sacrifice a cow. So Musa said, oh, Allah Ta'ala is saying sacrifice a cow. And they said, oh, Musa, are you making fun with us? Are you joking? And Musa said, no, I cannot joke on what Allah Ta'ala is saying. So I'm not an ignorant person. Ignorant person meaning I'm not dumb. When Allah Ta'ala tells me to do something, I'm not stupid enough that I make fun of that. Because I know Allah Ta'ala is very powerful. So why would I make a fun of that? But this is what Allah Ta'ala is asking you to do, to sacrifice a cow. So now what happened here is one person got killed, right? Someone killed the person and they wanted to find out the murderer, who murdered it. So Allah Ta'ala said, okay, let them get a cow. And they said, oh, Musa, are you making fun? He said, no, I'm not making fun. So these people, they were corrupt themselves as well. Then they start asking all kind of weird questions. Just like, can you tell us what kind of cow should we sacrifice? He said, okay, he said, just sacrifice any cow. They said, no, ask Allah Ta'ala what kind of cow it should be. So Musa alayhi salam again did a dua, talk to Allah Ta'ala that they're asking what kind of cow it should be. And then Allah Ta'ala said, okay, tell them the cow should be like a young cow. Then they said, oh, young cow, what should be the color of that cow? So they're messing with him. They're asking him all kind of nonsense questions. So he said, Musa, okay, I'm going to ask Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala said, okay, tell them it should be like a reddish kind of cow. So then he comes back, oh, okay, so it should be reddish cow, young cow. And how, is the cow should be in the fields or someone has a pet, or what kind of cow? Still want to know more. And then Musa alayhi salam went again and asked Allah Ta'ala, and they said, Allah Ta'ala said, okay, they want to ask more details, tell them it should be a young cow, it should be a reddish cow, it should be a cow which is not working in the fields, it should be someone's favorite pet cow, it should be the most beautiful cow as well. So Allah Ta'ala made a lot of restrictions on them because they were asking all kind of damn questions. So then they said, oh, okay, fine, now we know all the details. When they got all the answers, they said, okay, we got all the details. We're going to go and find that cow and we'll sacrifice it. So once we sacrifice it, do you think Allah Ta'ala will tell us who murdered that person? He said, yeah, Allah Ta'ala will tell you for sure who the murderer is, but first go and bring that cow and sacrifice that cow. So then Allah said that these people, they didn't want to follow the commandment to sacrifice cow. So that's why they were asking all kind of questions. So Allah made it hard for them to find such a cow. Now they start looking for such cow, right? They want a reddish kind of cow. They want a young cow which is not working in the field. They want a cow who is a pet for someone. So they start looking all around. So they start looking all over the country. So they finally found one cow which meet the criteria. Now that cow was very important to someone, because that cow belonged to a young boy. His father has died and he left only that cow for him. So when he grew up, he can use that cow for milk and to do yard work and all that. So that cow was very, very important for the family. So when they found that cow, they went to the boy's mother. They said, like, we want to buy your cow because we have been commanded to sacrifice such a cow. So when she said, okay, let me think about it and get back to you, angel came to her. Angel said, sell this cow to them for a very expensive rate, because they have to get this cow, because Allah Ta'ala has told them, and these people are corrupt, so you have to sell them very expensive, because with this cow's money, you have to take care of yourself, your son, and many years to come. So she said, okay, I'm going to sell you this cow, but I have to weight this cow equal to silver. So they got the cow, they weighed the cow, and they had to pay her equal amount of silver for that cow. So that expensive, so that much they pay for the cow, because they were stuck. There was an order from Allah Ta'ala, and they had to find the guy who killed it. So they paid her that much money, so which was good for the woman, for his small son as well, because she got a lot of silver money. So when they brought that cow, they brought to Musa alayhi salam. They said, okay, now we have the cow, what should we do? So Musa alayhi salam said, okay, bring the dead body as well, the guy who got killed. So they brought the dead body. They said, put the dead body right next to the cow, and now slaughter the cow. When they slaughtered the cow, Musa alayhi salam said, okay, get some blood of this cow and put on the dead body. When they put the blood on the dead body, the guy who was dead, he became alive. He became alive, and they asked him, who killed you? So he told them, that person from that tribe killed me. So now they know who killed him, because he got alive himself, right? And then he become dead again. So Allah Ta'ala, they got their answer. So Allah Ta'ala wanted to, with this thing, Allah Ta'ala showed them how Allah Ta'ala can make someone alive as well. Because these people already, they had questions that how Allah Ta'ala is going to make us alive. Maybe it's not possible and all that. So Musa said that Allah Ta'ala is giving you examples about this. Allah Ta'ala has made this person alive. So you can also find the criminal, you can find the murderer, and you can also know that Allah Ta'ala has the power to make anyone alive as well. Alive. So this story for Baqarah is in this Surah Baqarah. It's a very famous story, and that's why this name, the Surah's name is Surah Baqarah as well. So now they know the murderer. They took the revenge from him. They arrest him for the punishment, and they also got the knowledge that how Allah can make someone alive as well, right? Surah Al-Baqarah. Right. So Baqarah means cow. So anyone have a question? You have a question, Umar? Akbar? Okay, so with this we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna continue from here onwards. So the description I told you, we're gonna read on this description in the next few ayats as well, how the story is gonna unfold. So if there's no more questions, we're gonna end the class and we're gonna make a dua. Allah Ta'ala help us understand Quran, help us read more Quran, and help us follow the Quran, and help us become good Muslim as well. So with this, we're going to wrap up, and we will inshallah continue from here onward in the next class. Allah Hafiz.